I am your host, Ashira Nelson, and this is PBS Western Reserve Forum 360, where we have a global outlook from a local view. Today, I'm joined by Andrea Wilson, owner of Brick House Realty, and a powerhouse in Northeast Ohio's real estate market. Andrea has her fingers on the pulse of the industry. Whether you're looking to buy your first home, looking to invest, or try to make sense of today's market trends, she's both experienced and insightful. We previously had Andrea on the show to discuss the real estate landscape, and so much has changed since then. So in this episode, we'll get into all the important updates on what's happening in the housing market, especially from the perspective of home buyership and investing. So whether you're navigating the high interest rate, competitive bidding, or trying to find the right time to jump in, Andrea is here to help us break it all down. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good, I'm good.
You have so much going on, and I couldn't wait to have you back to talk about this. What I feel like is like a confused state we're in. I truly don't know what's happening in the market now, but I can't wait to dive into this episode so you can tell us from your perspective. But let's start by learning back about just a quick reminder of your background in Brick House Realty and like what it specializes in.
Okay. I'm the broker and owner at Brick House Realty.
Okay.
We just celebrated our 10th year in business, the beginning of this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I've been in the industry for over 20 years.
Wow. Okay.
So Brick House is an independent real estate brokerage located in Beechwood, Ohio. And we service the community on really all things real estate.
Very nice.
A lot of people like us because we're independent boutique. So you get a little like mom and pop, but we really focus on like the education level and staying up to date on industry trends, what's going on, new products to help our clients as well.
Very nice. Okay. So how has the Northeast Ohio real estate market changed since we last spoke? That was back in 2021.
And so in 2021, it was an interesting time. We had just came off of COVID.
Yeah.
During COVID, so the real estate professionals during COVID, we could still work.
Okay.
Throughout the entire time. So that was nice. The governor at that time made that possible for us. But what also happened during that time, a lot of people were scared and they didn't want to sell their home just with COVID. And even when everything kind of opened back up, people were like, what's going on? They were very protective.
Yeah.
So the housing inventory was very low at that point. We were seeing multiple offers going in on properties.
Oh my God, I remember that.
5, 10.
Yes.
You know, offering over list price of the house. And so now we've reached a point where we've made it through that COVID era. And so interest rates have gone up since then. So that's the other piece of it.
Yeah.
Interest rates are a little bit higher, but now we're starting to see that rates are coming down a little bit.
Okay.
It's a big push from the new administration that's in the White House to bring these interest rates down. Inventory in our area is still overall low in comparison to the number of buyers out there.
Okay.
But we're not seeing all the properties going in at, well over list price. People were writing like $50,000 over asking price. Now, some of those owners who got that overage, they're seeing a market correction happen where is sold for too much. So the people that bought and they paid over it, may not be getting that just because they paid for it in the beginning, or they just don't have that equity in the home like they thought.
Okay.
With rates coming down, we are expected to see the market start to open up because you have to think about it. There's a lot of people that are out there that have 2% and 3% interest rates, and they're like, Are you wanting to sell your home, right? Because you look at the market, you take a peek, you're like, oh, it's at 6% or something.
And then just go back in. I'm like, oop.
Exactly. So that's a lot of homeowners, they have these lower rates. So, but what you also have is probably a lot of equity in your home. So in some of these cases, you know, you're like, I really would like to kind of tap into that equity or use that equity if the rate wasn't crazy high to now maybe upgrade and get to a larger home. So that's what we're projecting or predicting for the interest rates to do. If they drop just a little bit, get it hopefully into the 4s, then that is enough for someone like yourself to maybe consider, you know, maybe doing an upgrade, and now your home, which may be, I don't know anything about your home, but maybe you purchase in a first-time home buyer's like price point. Now that can open up for first-time home buyers.
Yeah, and that is true. Like just speaking from my situation, it was, I purchased my home 10 years ago.
Okay.
That literally my interest rate is like 2.1, and it's a fine home. It's a great home. Honestly, it was built probably in like 2000s, in the millennium. So it's not an older home, but it's like, okay, we have grown since then. Started out with 3 kids, and now we're at 4. So more space would be nice, but this home fits us. So I definitely understand what you're saying about wanting to leave, because we have so much, probably over $100,000 of equity in it, because we have been paying off our mortgage rather quickly too, but it's just an awkward time. But I see what you mean. If these interest rates did go down, I would for sure buy.
Might be worth taking a look. Let's take a look.
All it takes is for the interest rates to go down, and I think my husband and I would kind of move a little quicker.
And that's what a lot of homeowners are facing, and that would free up the market. Or the housing market for a lot of these first-time home buyers that are just looking for that family home.
It's just so crazy how different real estate has changed in the last decade. I purchased my home, oh my God, for under $150,000, and seeing now the comparable for $150,000, it's just like night and day. What I know now, I wish I knew back then. I really do, and it's just so crazy. I literally tell my husband all the time, like, oh my God, like I wish I had the knowledge I have today 10 years ago, but
we always say we wish we had a time machine, like Back to the Future, you know.
Seriously,
like in there where you can go back in time, and then you could buy up all this inventory, even if you're coming in as an investor standpoint, buy that inventory up to know what it can sell for today. We would all be millionaires.
Exactly. I know. I wish we had a crystal ball back then. So what should first-time home buyers be aware of in 2025?
I would say that although things have changed from 2021, where we're not seeing as many offers in on a property, there's a couple changes that happened in the industry. So August 17th of 2024.
Okay.
The National Association was going through a class action lawsuit. And they lost. So the National Association of Realtors is the governing body for real estate professionals. So prior to August of 2024, almost always the seller would pay for the buyer's realtor's commission and their own commission. And so as a real estate professional, you never even had to ask. We just knew it was in our multiple listing service. We knew exactly how much we were going to get paid. And so when that changed, the National Association of Realtors, as part of that class action lawsuit, made a deal, and it said that all realtors have to have a buyer sign a buyer representation agreement prior to showing them a home. So before, if anybody calls, I want to see a house, you can't necessarily just look these days. You have to have this buyer representation agreement. And within that agreement, it will say that the buyer is responsible for their own realtor's fee. And it has to be written there. So what's happening in the marketplace is that the seller could still pay for it. And we're still seeing that happen today. Or that fee could be split, or the buyer could be 100% responsible, right? So in the marketplace, what's happening is a buyer, you have several sets of fees. It's expensive to buy a home.
Absolutely. And I don't think people realize how many different fees there is.
Yes. So even if you get and tap into programs like down payment assistance, which is available, you still want to make sure you have some sort of cash reserves on your end.
Okay.
So you have your down payment.
Yep.
You have closing costs, and now you have realtor fees. And then aside from that, you have your things such as your appraisal fee, your home inspections. But yes, so you have your down payment.
Wow.
If you're going FHA, that could be 3.5% down. Conventional loans has a product as well. If you're a first-time home buyer, that's 3% down, but it could be 5% down.
Okay.
And you have your closing costs.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
And then now realtor fee.
Wow. So you need to save up for realtor fees as you're saving for your home. That is completely different than when you were last here.
So it's additional fees.
Wow.
So
I don't know if that information is as known now. To be honest, I have not even seen that.
Yep. You are responsible for it. Now, like anything else, so your down payment has to come from you, or from the buyer, right?
Yep.
Or it could come from a family member can gift you the money.
Yep.
It could come from like a down payment assistance, but it has to come from your side of the transaction.
Yeah.
But your closing costs, the seller, you could ask the seller to cover it. Traditionally, on an FHA loan, you can ask for up to 6% of the purchase price.
Okay.
On a conventional loan, they can ask for a max of 3% of the purchase price. You can also ask the seller to pay for your realtor fees. But this is the biggest catch, right?
Okay.
And I think this is kind of where I started out. I wanted to say where the market is a little bit different. Although we don't have the same, we're not like 2021 where it's that competitive, it is still a competitive housing market, right? And so how you structure and write your deals is going to be very important, right?
Yeah.
So when it is a competitive market and there's not a lot of inventory out there. So when you go write an offer, just think about if you're the buyer and you have just enough to pay for your own down payment, but you don't have the savings for your closing costs and now realtor fees. So now you go to the seller and you're asking the seller like, hey, I need you to pay my realtor fee and my closing fees. Okay, but then you have someone else that has seen the same house and they submit an offer and they say, I have my down payment, my closing costs, and my realtor fees. If you're a seller of the property, what offer are you going to go with?
The second option every time. Everybody, the
option that's going to put the most money in that seller's pocket. So it's so important that when you're writing these offers, that we are writing it in a way, because you could go up on the offer a little bit to kind of essentially cover or to make sure that the seller is going to net the amount that they're looking for, assuming that it appraises for it. So we can do that, but it's going to take the right team to make sure, and communication between your realtor, your loan officer, and you as the buyer to make sure that what you're looking to do and your finances are clearly communicated. So when you submit an offer, each time you're going in with your highest and best offer.
Wow. I am your host, Ashira Nelson, and this is PBS Forum 360. Today, I have brought back Andrea Wilson of Brick House Realty to talk about the ever-evolving real estate market. We're learning so many gems, so definitely stay tuned. So just to dive back into that, because I felt like you have educated me on, which I thought I knew a little bit, but you just realize that if you don't stay up on this stuff, you really don't know. So having a team is so important. So who's all on your team, or what do your team, or are you a one-woman show? How's your team set up to help your buyers?
It's interesting, because it is all so new, and a lot of times people when they say well, this is what my realtor said I had to do. And then they're like, well, I didn't have to do that. And they're not realizing that, the market and rules have changed. So we, as being an independent brokerage, we really focus in on the education piece of it.
I love that, yeah.
And just being, having resources on every level for everything that you need. So I'm licensed as a real estate broker, but I'm also licensed as a mortgage loan officer.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice.
So I became licensed. It's kind of interesting because I used to do mortgages years ago, probably over 20 years ago, as part of my career path or whatever. So I've had the license, but it's been sitting on hold.
Okay.
And so last year I decided to reactivate the license, actually around the same time that the rules started changing.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I wanted to do that is to have a place that buyers can have a more seamless transaction, because finding that we, as being just on the realtor side, and send them over to a lender, there was oftentimes like a disconnect there on what I'm seeing out there and how they're explaining the market to their clients. So I'm licensed as a mortgage loan officer. So typically I start initially, everything kind of starts with me. I'm not a one-man show in that sense, but let me explain. So it kind of starts with me. I like to have the conversation to get the full picture of what that individual is looking to do. Okay. Some people are just a first-time home buyer and they just want to find a family home. Other people are setting out with an investment mindset, businessy mindset.
Great point, yeah.
Where, yes, they're a first-time home buyer, but we know that this is not their forever home, and they're looking at it from an investment standpoint. So that way, when they outgrow that house, they'll either have a lot of equity in there, or they can hold on to it and rent it out. So what loan product, what purchase price, what does that house look like that they should be purchasing early on as an investment for their future?
I love that. Okay.
We sit down initially with the conversation. I work to get them approved, either looking for down payment assistance programs if needed, or other programs that are out there that's in alignment with what they're looking to do. Okay. Once we identify that, I'm also going to tell them how they should be structuring the loan. You need to ask for this amount of closing costs from the seller, or realtor fees. I'm going to help them identify that. Okay. Once we have identified that, I have 30 plus agents in my office. Oh. So from there, I connect them to an agent that's in one of the agents in our office, but I'm not going anywhere. See, a lot of other times the loan officer kind of is over there and like, out of the equation.
Honestly, like would seem like to be a whole little separate island. Like you're gonna go back to them when you're done.
And the realtor and the lender a lot of times don't even communicate, right? Or part of it might be just a customer service thing. Other times, just nobody knows or not taking that extra level of care. So I will be in communication. Now, you don't have to use one of our realtors, like if you use me as a loan officer or vice versa. You are free to choose whoever you want to work with, but this is a service that seems to provide a seamless transaction from the client's standpoint. Right? So they work with the realtor, and then from there, when they're going out shopping and they find a house, I am very much involved in that transaction, even at that point, because we're going to run numbers. Taxes can throw off, property taxes can throw off the deal. And so I stay heavily involved until closing.
Very nice. Okay. And so you talked about, we talked about being a buyer, like first-time home buyer, or just purchasing a home. Let's talk about the investing side of real estate. So what makes a good investment properties in today's market?
Well, this is probably one of my favorite areas to talk about. I know what it's done for myself and my family. I heavily invest in real estate. And so I wish more families would think about this as they're looking to purchase a home. So on the investment side of it, you can either have cash, obviously, to buy the place, or you can have get a loan. But if you're starting out and you get a loan for a property, and we're calling it investment properties right out the gate, you're going to need 20 to 25% down payment. And for a lot of people, it's hard for them to kind of get in the investment game.
Especially in today's market. Coming up with
today's market.
20%.
Yes. Yeah. So, and if you do, you have enough to purchase one, but then how long would it take you to raise the capital for that next down payment for that property?
So what's some other options for people who want to get into the game as a real estate investor?
My favorite is something I do. I do a class on this at least once a month. It's called house hacking. It's probably one of my favorite ways.
Tell us about house hacking.
So the house hacking is, so any home 4 units or less is considered residential real estate.
Okay.
So just think of a 4-unit apartment building that's residential real estate, meaning you can use a traditional loan, your FHA, conventional, or even a VA loan, right?
Okay.
VA benefits of it, 0% down. FHA, 3.5% down.
Okay.
Conventional, 3 or typically 5% down is what it would be. So you use that. Your requirement is for you to live in one of the units for 1 year.
Okay, so it could be a 4-unit. You just need to live in one unit, one of the 4, if you go with that option. Just 1 year.
1 year.
Okay, so what happens after that 1 year?
You move out of that unit, place a tenant, and now we're just going to do repeat.
Okay.
We're going to go out and find another either duplex. You can do a single family home if you want to. It just doesn't work the same.
Or a duplex.
A duplex, a triplex, or a quad. So you're just going to live in it, and that's how you can grow with the minimum out of pocket.
Oh.
So just think, if a house is $100,000, you're going FHA, that's 3.5%. You only need $3,500 down on there. You could even use down payment assistance if you're still considered a first-time home buyer. Like this is your first one, first-time home buyer. And so it's little out of pocket. So if you got down payment assistance, that covered that down payment, but you had some money saved. Now you could put that money towards your closing costs. So that's kind of what down payment, how that helps in the equation.
How do or potential buyers find out about home buyer assistance program? Because I always had a hard time, or people have expressed that they have a hard time finding different opportunities like that.
It just comes down to your team and your resources.
Okay.
Yes. And that's why I like to say that, you want to come to us because we have all of the resources. We're working in the community.
We need to find a good team.
Yep. So it typically starts with your lender, right? That's where the down payment assistance programs kind of live. Yes.
And so like the real estate agent would be like basically the person having the information about the different programs, but the lender has the program.
Yes. So you want a realtor. Not every realtor has a lot of knowledge about programs that are out there. So your team, going back to, I can't stress enough how your team is important.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
So if you're starting out with the realtor first, you can ask the realtor and they would connect you with a lender that offers programs.
Okay.
So the company that I work with, we use down payment assistance program. So when someone comes in as part of that onboarding and that initial call, and there's programs at the state level, the city level. At the city level, their funding is much lower. So once it's gone, and usually about mid-year, it's already gone.
Oh, good point.
The other thing about the city programs, it's cool if you wanted to live in that city, but maybe you don't want to. I usually like to use, there's a state program that I use. And so there's 2 parts to that state program. Well, so I like the state program because you can move anywhere within the state.
Okay.
The other piece that coupled together is so dynamic. You probably know because you're on this side of things, but the mortgage tax credit. When you put those 2 together, I can get you a lower interest rate. I can get you cash back with that mortgage tax credit.
Oh, wow. Okay. So where do you see the market going in the next 12 to 18 months?
I think we are going to see a little dip in the interest rates.
Oh, I'm praying for it.
Yes. So I think that we'll start to see that. We have seen an increase in new construction happening, which is positive for the housing industry as a whole, because
it's exciting to seeing them new houses built in a community. I love it.
And it's like a conveyor belt, right? And you have the new buyers coming in at like a first-time home buyer, typically first time home buyer price point, house size and everything.
Yep.
And then those people living in that home, they move up, and then maybe the people ahead of them, they're moving, oh, it's time to do new construction.
Okay.
So the new construction happening, it allows the conveyor belt to move along so that everyone can find housing. COVID happened, supplies and material costs shot through the roof. A lot of developers, builders stopped building, which broke the conveyor belt system.
Yes.
So I think that we'll start to see more people get into homes, find more inventory. But if rates go down, it's going to get kind of crazy too, because it's going to bring another set of people like, okay, I'm ready to make a move now.
Yeah.
So just kind of keep your ear to the streets, real estate streets, should I say, as to what's going on. And, talk to someone who's knowledgeable and can connect you with the right resources.
I love that. So thank you for joining us on Forum 360. I am your host, Ashira Nelson. I've been speaking with Andrea of Brick House Realty about today's evolving real estate market. Be sure to tune in to next time for more local insight with a global prospect, and right here on PBS Western Reserve. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Forum 360 is brought to you by John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, the Akron Community Foundation, Hudson Community Television, the Rubber City Radio Group, Shaw Jewish Community Center of Akron, Blue Green, Electric Impulse Communications, and Forum 360 supporters.